Hosting your own website on your own computer has been made quite easily by freely available tools. Windows has this built into it using IIS. However, it is a lot more complex than the average user is going to want to go through to get their website up. So what we're going to use is a development platform called XAMPP or XAMPP or however you say it that you can install on your computer and set up a local environment. And in that local environment, you can run all websites, including WordPress and other PHP types of websites. You have MySQL databases, Perl, and CGI. So you can do pretty much anything with it. So if you have an extra computer laying around you're not doing much with, then you can use this to host your own site with. I don't suggest you do it on your computer that you use every day. You do other things with that. So you might want to set it up on a different machine. But you can do that if you want. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to set up the XAMPP development environment, and then I'm going to show you how you can get it online and you can access it from anywhere, and so can any of your potential customers. Okay, so the first thing we needed to do is install XAMPP. So we're going to download it. So just download it for whatever platform. So I'm going to be downloading for Windows in my case. And save file. Okay, the first thing that comes up if you're on Windows and you have user account control configured is it warns you not to put it in the program files directory, x86 in this case, since I'm using a 64-bit. So make sure that you don't install it there when you're using a Windows install. So we take a note of that. We'll click OK. We'll click Next here. Just install all the components. Click Next. Okay, now I got this going in C:\examp. So I don't have to worry about it because I don't have it going in program files, but you can just click this. And if it is in program files, just change it to somewhere else. Let's click Next. Okay, this talks about Bitnami, where you can put some pre-installed things in XAMPP. Let's click Next. And it's just doing a little thing with the command window there. And there we go. Okay, so we'll just wait for this to install. Okay, now the next thing you'll see if you're on Windows is that a warning that it wants to access the firewall or go through the firewall as an HTTP server. So you're going to want to allow that. You're also going to see one for Apache. Allow that. Okay, so now we have that installed. Okay, so after it's installed, you'll see the XAMPP control panel come up. And it comes up with an error here. In my case, it may not with yours. But if it does, well, let me just show you here. If we try and start Apache, which is what gets everything going, and you get these errors and it stops, then you're done, right? It won't work. What we need to do is run XAMPP as an administrator. Okay, so let's close this. And we can get rid of this window. And now what we're going to do is we're going to run it as administrator. So all you got to do is right click on it and then run as administrator and pop it up. Okay, so just make sure that you've exited it. You may have to go to your taskbar on the right hand corner and make sure that you've shut down the XAMPP control panel. Okay, so we'll come down here. I'm using Windows 10, so I just click on here, go to X. Okay, here's the folder. And then XAMPP control panel, right click on it. Okay, and then more, and then run as administrator. Okay, as soon as you did that, you'll see that it now is running properly. Now what you want to do is start MySQL. Okay, and now XAMPP's all ready, and we can start hosting our websites on it. Now after you started in MySQL, you will have seen the Windows firewall warning come up again for MySQL. Just go ahead and let it through. Okay, what we want to do now is go into config here, and then you want to set this up so that it starts automatically you're going to want Apache and MySQL. Down here, Start Control Panel Minimized, click that, and then when your computer starts, it'll start down in the taskbar. So next thing you want to do is make sure on startup that it gets admin privileges. So to do that, we need to bring up the file location. So you can just go to the program like I just showed you and right click on it and then more, then file location. On Windows 7, same deal. You just click on the shortcut and you edit it from there. So let's bring that up. Okay, so open file location, and here we have it. So right click on this and then properties. And then what you want to do is go to advanced and then run as administrator. So this is now going to start it up every time with administrator capabilities. Okay, so we'll click OK. We've got to continue. And there we go. Okay, so now XAMPP will start up with administrator authority. Now, you see here we have ports 80 and 443. These are the standard incoming ports for most things off the internet. This is your port that is unsecured, and this is your secured port. We're going to want to reassign these. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into config here, and we're going to go into HTTPD config. Now what we want to do is go into edit, and we want to find, and what we want to find is 80. That's our port number that's being listened on. And you'll see this one isn't actually here. It has a pound sign in front of it, so it's not the one we want, but this is the one we want. We want it to listen on a different port, and we're going to have it listen on port 81. That way it won't interfere with anything like Skype and many other things that uses port 80. Well, it wasn't done there. There was more. You've got to change all of the 80s. So let's go back into here and find 80 again. Okay, and then here, okay, that's the one it isn't listening on. Let's find next. Okay, and here is localhost. That needs to be on 81. And that's all. Okay, so save this. We want to go back into config again. We want to do the same thing for HTTPD SSL config. So go in here. Now, what we want to do this time is find 443. Okay, so it's listening on 443. You want to change that to 444. Let's find next. Okay, virtual host default. You want to change that to 444. Find next. Okay. 444. And next. And that's it. Now, we have to go back into config up here, go into services and ports, settings, and then we need to change this to 81 and 444. Now, if you're already using any of these ports, you can change them. Just make sure they're consistent. Let's save and save. Now we need to stop Apache and we need to restart it. And now you see it's listing on 81 and 444. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go to our web server. So normally you would just type in localhost. So let's do that in the browser bar here. And you'll see it's unable to connect. And that's because when we do localhost, it's looking on port 80. So we need to type in localhost :81, http://localhost :81, or 443 if you want to access secure. So 81, and now we are bringing up our XAMPP server on localhost. This is the home page that's in there. Okay, and I'm going to show you how we get around that on the internet in a little later. But at this point, we have everything installed so that we can run our own website. I'm going to put WordPress install on here just to show you how to do it. It's very simple, and I'm going to do that in the next video.